Just remarkable. Just remarkable. One of the better September, maybe the best September football weekends in the state of Colorado.
Let's go, man. That was fun. Starts on Saturday, finishes on Sunday.
We'll get to the Buffs, obviously, but for those non-believers.
And Arkansas going into Auburn.
Well, yeah.
Come on.
We can ignore the Syracuse-Stanford game the rest of the week.
Well, we need to talk about that. You're pretty hyped on that.
We do not need to talk about Syracuse.
Did you lose to Stanford?
We don't need to talk about it.
Hey, Kyle McCord.
Nothing says Big Ten like Syracuse-Stanford.
Just want to know how you believe right now. Where you at? Where you at, big boy? You believing?
No.
You're not.
What am I going to believe in?
25 of 36 for 216.
So 36 attempts for how many yards?
200. Oh, you're going to quibble with the yards?
No, I'm just asking how many yards?
No interceptions. No, 216.
How about touchdowns?
No touchdowns. Ran for a touchdown again. Ran 9 times. Scheduled runs, not just panicking like, 47 yards.
Well, one was he avoided a sack, which looked a little bit like Shedeur from the night before.
Hell of a play.
That was that big run he had was phenomenal because I don't know how he didn't get sacked on that play.
Got you're right on that one.
That right there answers questions. Is Bo Nix is athletic?
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I'm not a non-believer. I am a believer, but I respect you, and you said what you said, so I just want to come back and see if you're,
listen,
still there.
Here's the funny thing about me, and I know that you're like a clown on
I'm sorry, what?
On the blue pill. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up and down all night. After 4 hours, you get some ice on it or take some Benadryl. I want to say, listen, I said it before and I said it on Friday. It's not that I don't believe in him. I'm not all in, or I'm not all in on him. I'm not out on him.
Okay.
I'm a Bronco fan. I want them to win. And that was a great Sunday afternoon.
That was a great
in front
Sunday
of my
afternoon.
TV.
That was great.
Well, whether you're fully in on Bo Nix or not, what that game did was it gave everybody reason to have hope. So whether you're already in beforehand, you never lost any faith in the guy on the first 2 games, whether you're all the way out on the guy, no matter where you were going into that game, you've got hope, man. I mean, and it starts with the beginning of the game. And Sean Payton, you win the coin toss. He takes the ball.
Which was different. A lot of teams don't do that, right?
Well, Sean doesn't do it.
A very unusual decision. Does not happen very often. And quite frankly, a decision that was just pure cojones, really, because you didn't have a whole lot of stuff to bank on. Like, I've got an offense that has been crushing it. Come out the gates, throw the ball down the field. Bo goes 4 for 4 in the opening drive, and including 2. How deep were those throws? 18, 20-yard throws, somewhere in that ballpark, right? And you march down the field and you score. And right then and there, it's like that looked different. That felt fun. And I guess to Sean Payton's credit, he's taken chances before, onside kicks, so on and so forth. I'm not sure it was the smartest decision in the world, but it sure as heck worked out.
I love that decision. I always thought but this isn't one of those things that I'm going to bang the drum about because I see the other side, so whatever. But quietly, I've always advocated for just taking the ball first and getting the lead because I believe it's a stronger point to play with the lead rather than hope for that turnaround 2-score halftime Wizzy does it.
I'm glad you said that. You want me to tell you what I learned on that game right there, the one thing? Because I would ask you no dumb question. If you're all in because of that one game, does that mean you were all out because of week 2?
No.
So to me, and maybe this is back for my play time, I try to stay middle of the road. I wasn't super depressed after the game 2. Is what it is. Growing thing. Let's see. But to be able to, here's what I found out in this game. That's where I was going. Bo Nix can win and hold a lead getting in front. This is the first week we really saw like a dominant kind of get a touchdown, not a field goal, not a safety and get a little, cheapy leads, 10-0 lead, and all you've done is 2 field goals and 2 safeties. I mean, out there, construct a drive, get down, score thing. And he can play in front, and there's an art to playing in front too. Don't think there is.
No doubt about it.
And I'm not sure yet he's learned how to come from behind. That's fine. 2 close games, got close but didn't finish. So we learned that, guess what? Get this guy to lead in the fourth quarter. I think you're going to be okay. I think there's an art that you guys work on, don't you, Tyler?
Well,
4-minute drills, right?
Yeah, I mean, just ask the Ravens. Ravens almost blew a 20-point lead or whatever it was. Look, man, the reality is we don't know a whole lot about anything. All we know is we've got progress going on. You got to take baby steps here, right? Huge step in the right direction. Sean Payton was out to prove something when he took the ball. Bo Nix delivered for his coach. They set the tone. And you just got to give Bo Nix a lot of credit for this. It's never as good as you think it is, and it's never as bad as you think it is. Right. So it's always somewhere in between. But for Bo Nix to come out the gates with the type of confidence that he played with, that's a challenging thing to do when you've got 2 weeks of us talking heads being a bunch of idiots telling him how bad he's been.
Well,
right?
don't you think that Sean Payton, whether he will ever admit it or not, listens to the sound of the city?
Sure, I think he's aware of things.
Yeah.
I think he has people that keep him aware of things.
And I don't know if we had somebody on this air, we had somewhere where they're not letting the stats, the eggheads that came out with all the analytics, Bo's not throwing it deep, they're not putting any pressure. Pittsburgh cornerback saying we knew he wasn't going to everything long. First pass of the game, 20 yards down the field, boom, boom, bing. And I went, ooh. Somebody was listening to a little criticism this week and said, oh, I'll show you.
Well, there was a lot of talk about the 2 high safety thing. That was a big narrative. And the Broncos just went out there and said, we don't care. Right off the bat, there's soft spots if you can hit them. By the way, the Broncos play a ton of that 2-deep safety stuff as well. A lot of zone defense. A lot of teams do. But there are soft spots, Tyler. There are places you can hit it. But you got to make a good throw in order to hit it.
Yep. I mean, it's there's a lot going on here, and obviously Bo Nix is going to get a lot of the attention, and you know what, deservedly so. But I'm kind of sitting here. My main takeaway is, dude, we got something special in Vance Joseph. We do. I mean, what Vance Joseph has been able to string together ever since the 70-point game. I mean, we've got a dude that is on the fast track again to becoming a head coach if he keeps this up. We've got a defense that has put you in every single game this year. You should have been able to win all of the games. I mean, what was the Steelers? Steelers put up 13 points or something like that on us, right?
Steelers put up 13 in your building.
Right.
And you held Seattle in their building to 20, right?
So,
right.
you know, if the defense is able to continue like this, Bo Nix isn't going to be this good every game. He's probably not going to be as bad as he was in the first 2 games either. But if the defense continues to play like this, you'll have a lot of games where you're in this thing.
We will dig deeper, obviously, but
you said something the other day. Going to be a lot of close games. If this defense can play another 14 games the way they've started the season, Bo Nix is going to have a chance to win games. Sean Payton's going to have a chance to win games.
And guess what? That wasn't a close game. That was an NFL blowout, okay? On the road, a 3-possession difference is the final. The Bucs just giving up, not even using their timeouts at the end of the game.
How about that?
Okay, wave that white flag. That was
one of the big shockers for me. I was like, at least say something to the officials. We're going to make you stay out here another,
game
10
was
minutes.
over. Game was over. And it was over.
Yeah.
It was over. And we'll dig into Javonte Williams. There were some, little things going on. But you want to get a 60-minute game? That was as close to me as a 60-minute game that you're going to find. So kudos to the Broncos. What wasn't a 60-minute game, but was one of the most exciting games you will ever see, period. And if you were at that game, consider yourself lucky. And then there was rain. But how do you even put into words what happened at Folsom Field on Saturday night?
Dude, electric, fun, exciting. The Colorado Buffaloes always produce ratings. There's a reason, right? Because it's fun. They've always got insane things going on, whether it's good, whether it's bad, and they've got both of that going on in just about every single game that they've got. But at the end of the day, they've got the best player in America in Travis Hunter, and one of, if not the best quarterbacks in America as well, and Shedeur Sanders. And what Shedeur was able to do in the final 2 plays of that game, I don't think has ever been done before. And I'm being serious. I mean, delivers an absolute dart to Shepard, who drops the ball on the first throw.
Yeah, he tried to catch it with his chest.
Yeah, absolute dart. Which how long was that throw? Would you say 50-some yards, whatever?
Whatever.
And then you followed it up with a one-on-one, right? So most time Hail Marys,
Mm.
you kind of group the guys together. And you got 2 or 3 wide receivers. You got one guy on the other side of the field. Shedeur scrambles out to the left, and I'll say this. That was the worst Hail Mary defense I've ever seen in my life. Whoever that blitzing corner was, you've got one job. Don't let Shedeur break contain. And he runs right into the middle of the field. So terrible defense. But then Shedeur delivers another strike, catches that thing. The Colorado Buffaloes are just flat out a fun team to watch. It's exciting. That was heart. There was lots of heart. There was bad stuff. I got it. But that was one hell of a win. And for all of you, all the fun police out there yelling, making fun of CU for rushing the field after beating Baylor, grow up. Have a little fun in your life. That game was the most exciting ending I think I've ever seen in my life.
I give him a pass because of the ending. Beating Baylor and you do that, but giving the ending, I give you a little pass on that.
Right, it wasn't about the team.
Yeah.
It wasn't about how big the win
ending.
was. It was about the excitement of the moment.
My daughter went there and went to the game. She graduated CU and said she hadn't been to a game since, I think she said 2012, 15, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Rain, I gave her my big poncho Rain thing and blah, blah, blah. And she said, by the way, thanks. That really saved
Needed
the day.
it. Yeah. Rain.
But she absolutely loves it. It was crazy. They were in the end zone where they scored. And he said it was absolutely nuts. But I'll say this. Travis Hunter is the best player in football. I sent you guys an article. One guy probably won't win it. And yet in the article, well, he's the best player in football. And yet, but probably won't win the Heisman. Well, I thought that's what the Heisman was.
Yep.
Best player in football. His thing was they probably won't win enough games, and so people won't pay attention. Okay, whatever. I was talking on the phone on drive in today, and a guy said to me something funny. He goes, Shedeur Sanders got a little Elway. I go, Elway? He goes, well, big arm.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
And you never feel like you're out of it if he's got the ball.
Ever.
And I went, dude, I thought that was as good of a praise as somebody could have, a kid in college that big arm, good, okay, check.
And think about what he's
Never
overcoming
out of it.
also. Think about what he's overcoming also. He's overcoming loss of a lead. He's over sure.
Did you say his
fine.
dad?
He's overcoming a lack of a running game. And that offensive line started that game playing pretty dang good football. By the time you got to the end of the game, it was atrocious again. And even with an atrocious offensive line, you never feel like you're out of it with Shedeur Sanders back there.
Well, see if you guys leave like this quote. Another quote from somebody who was at the game, football guy, said, if CU had an offensive line, they might be pretty good.
They are pretty good. You know what? I'm going to just say it. They are pretty good.
No.
They're not a top 25 team. I'm not saying that.
They're a 14-point underdog this weekend.
They are a pretty good football team that is going to be competitive. Look, you're halfway to the magic number now. That's what was so important about that game. Was it so important that you beat Baylor? Well, not necessarily because it's Baylor, but you got 3 wins now.
I think
you're halfway to the magic number, and they are a good enough football team that they will be competitive in the majority of the games that